Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coe Show. My name is Mason Coe, and as always, sitting across from me, my co-host Aaron Coe.
Hello.
At Mason Charles Coe on Twitter, at Aaron Coe 29. Go ahead and subscribe. Leave a like to the channel if you're enjoying what you see. This is Seahawk Talk number 3. An exciting week 3. Kind of a crazy game.
Is there any other kind?
Yeah, exactly. Came out with the W, obviously.
Win.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. Keep that going.
Yeah. So obviously the outcome was great. Russ is still cooking. Skybox Shoddy's still cooking. So love to see that. Obviously the defense, there are some injuries, and we had our issues here and there, both with the pass rush and in coverage. And obviously those two kind of hurt each other at times. So yeah,
the opponents are cooking with Russ. They're providing food for the party as well.
Pete Carroll's 9-0 when the opponent has over 400 yards passing. So let the
That's
opponent
insane.
cook. Yeah,
that's insane.
Let the opponent cook.
That's why you run the ball, son.
Yeah, I mean that does kind of show that pass yards are not a very valuable stat. If Pete Carroll's 9-0 when teams are throwing 400 yards against him.
Well, a lot of times you're getting those yards when you're behind.
True.
So
yeah.
It depends on when those yards come. If they're in garbage time, then yeah, you're gonna win. You're gonna win most of those. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I guess start talking about this week against the Cowboys. Dak cooked, Russ cooked harder, thankfully. The score was, despite what for some reason they're putting on ESPN that it was 38-31. It was actually 45-31. I keep seeing this edited highlight of DK Metcalf fumbling out of the end zone. I don't know why that keeps showing up on my Twitter. He scored, obviously, as we all know.
Yeah, you keep living in that world. Let me in.
It's just
your brain just short circuited and wouldn't allow that footage in.
Yeah.
You had a minor seizure there, and yeah.
There obviously you hate to see that play in any circumstance, but especially when it's a guy you love like DK, a guy that's been performing so well, and a guy that even though he's young, you don't expect him to make kind of those dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
And also the play before that, he missed a block and it caused Russ to get sacked. That was just an overall really bad drive. I actually don't know what his line was at the end. I want to say other than that, he didn't have like a terrible game, but
yeah, he had a few other. Obviously, had the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah,
so he was able to.
He did have another drop too, didn't he? There's a separate drop, like the next drive or something.
Yeah. Or at least one that I don't think it was an easy catch, but one that you want. If he's going to be a Hall of Fame receiver, then you make those catches.
That is quite high expectations.
So we may just have to live with some drops from him. That may just be who.
He went 4 for 110 and a touchdown.
Well, yeah, but
8 targets.
If you're going to give him those yards on that catch. Then,
that's right. I forgot he gets those yards on that catch.
He gets those yards.
Yeah, okay.
He should have to give those back.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But no, I would say, I don't want to be too negative after a win, but that's as angry as I've been at a play for a very long time.
It's just so dumb. He toasted him. He toasted him by like 10 yards, but, when you have to slow down to catch the ball, like you got to expect the DB, DB's not just going to stop and give up. Like at the very least, they have to hustle through the plays so they don't get benched.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to get looked at, when you come back to the bench and you let up, you don't want guys saying stuff to you. So he kept playing.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get toasted and then just stop running.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think he'll learn from that. I don't think, receivers are the biggest effing divas ever.
Yeah.
And probably in any sport. I'm never too sure why. I think it's because, how many pass plays are there in a game? Usually around 40, 35 and up for most NFL games these days.
Yeah.
If you have a good game, if you have a great game, you catch 10 balls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people have caught 20 or whatever,
Right.
but 10 is a fantastic game. So even if you have a great game, that means probably 3 out of 4 times you run your route and the ball doesn't come to you.
Yeah.
So I think it like puts a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Because they think they should get it 40 times, I guess. But so their receivers are a little bit nuts anyway. Sounds like Russ did a good job of going right over to him, which isn't normally what he does.
Right. Yeah.
And saying something like, "Don't do that again." You know, maybe a few F-bombs in there wouldn't have hurt. But yeah, we just have to hope that he learns from that. It wasn't a showboat thing. You know, I've seen guys. Hell, I mentioned this the other day. Jerry Rice, pretty early in his career, had a wide open touchdown, and he ran down. He was carrying the ball like it was the Statue of Liberty up above his head, you know, with about 10 yards to go, and it slipped off of his hand, went out of the end zone. I don't think he ever did something like that again.
Yeah.
So it was a case of he didn't realize the guy was still coming. You know, I don't think it was an ego showboat thing. It didn't seem like mistake.
He just slowed down. I mean,
yeah, it was a mistake that'll be shown. We'll see that for years.
We're going to see it forever. And I don't DK doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would let this happen again after making a dumbass mistake like that. I think you're just going to see him sprint through the end zone every time. Like, not actually sprint through the end zone, but I think we're not even going to get close to that happening again. Obviously, you should never get close to that happening. It was really dumb, but I don't to me, there's no reason to believe that DK is just going to be like this bonehead. I mean, I don't know. He seems like a smart guy. So
yeah, I don't think so. I haven't heard any issues with his work ethic or anything like that.
No, I mean, he's even as a rookie, he was first one in, last one out.
Yeah.
For the receivers, at least a lot of the time. So
and yeah, I in the end, this could be a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it might really humble him, even though it's embarrassing and for him and
it didn't ultimately cost us. Yeah. Ultimately,
how'd you like to be in the film room when
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
That is going to be dead silent, I bet.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's no need to say anything more. So
no.
But yeah, I still have great hope for the guy to be a superstar.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
My biggest concern is the drop passes.
Yeah.
Like that needs to get fixed. I mean, if you want to be a Hall of Fame receiver, and he seems to have the talent to do that, when there's a ball, when Russ throws a ball high, and he does that a lot of times on purpose, because he's like, I'm throwing a contested ball. I'm going to put it up high, and either DK catches it or no one catches it.
A lot of the time, no one catches it.
And there's too many no one catching it.
Yeah.
Like, get those fingertip grabs.
Mm-hmm.
Use that height.
Mm-hmm. It seems like the catches that are not quite routine, but not like crazy hard.
Yeah.
Those like kind of, you know, like ones where he has to kind of reach, go out and get it, maybe kind of fall and catch it. It feels like he struggles with those ones.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, still he's super young, and apparently he's out there on the jugs machine after practice every single day, which again, you know, that kind of is more working on the passes just right here. So who knows if that'll help a ton, but you know, I'm not down on him at all.
No, I'm not. I was ready to, kill him in his sleep.
Yeah.
Better be sound asleep.
Yeah. Seriously.
When that happened, like I said, I don't remember the last time I was that, angry.
Do you think you could beat up DK Metcalf if he was dead asleep and you got one solid, like, as hard as you can?
No.
Do you think you could beat him up if you had, like, I don't know, like a hydro flask with you and you smacked him on the head with a hydro flask?
Unless he's out cold, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, you're probably
What
right.
am I gonna? I mean, I can't even run from the guy.
No, no. There's nothing you can do.
No.
Nothing.
No, you would pretty much have to murder the guy in his sleep.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I might have tried if I had had the chance 5 minutes after that happened.
Yeah.
I was seething for a long time just because, man, that, part of it is, Russ had 5 touchdowns, would have had 6.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the dynamic of the game. Maybe we're not talking about a close game.
Yeah.
You never know how those things play out.
It's crazy how perfect Russ's stat line would look without the pick 6 from Greg Olsen and
Yeah.
and the drop from DK, and there might have been something else in there. There was like another touchdown he should have had somewhere in there, but yeah. I guess, I mean, other than DK, other than those mistakes, DK actually did have a pretty good game.
Yes.
Tyler Lockett, obviously, incredible game, 3 touchdowns in the first half.
I feel like they're finally doing a really good job. I think Shoddy, this is the best I've ever seen him, and it's not just let Russ cook. It's not just throwing more on early downs, but I'm seeing some creative plays.
Yeah.
And that really benefits Lockett a lot.
Like the Hollister touchdown, he was wide. I mean, he was wide open.
Yeah.
Those are like, I love those type of plays on the goal line, and I know you do too. Those pass plays where, especially the ones where it's like some tight end that has no business catching touchdowns, but really and there was another play where Lockett was wide open in the back corner.
Yeah.
It seems like Shoddy's getting really creative and getting guys open, which that was a huge complaint from so many people last year, especially on Twitter. Shoddy's not giving our receivers any help in getting themselves open.
Yeah.
And now we're running schemes and plays where our guys, they have room to show their athleticism and and put in work by themselves, but also get some help from the plays themselves, and obviously Russ. So yeah.
Yep.
What else do you got?
I thought Russ was man. It's hard to say this about a guy who threw for 5 touchdowns, and I think he was over 300 yards, or he was close to 300 yards. I thought he looked a little off compared to the first 2 games, and that's being really nitpicky, but.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few more inaccurate throws than he's had.
Yeah.
There were a couple that were caught that if he had put it in the right spot would have been bigger gains.
Mm-hmm.
Where the receivers having to go down into their ankles or having to reach back inside. So it wasn't probably his best effort. He looked a little bit like he had some PTSD going on. So he would drop back, and you could see him dropping his head, ready for a hit that really wasn't there. Now, he did have some pressure a few times. But
fucking Aldon Smith, dude.
Oh, man.
The ghost of Aldon Smith haunting us once again.
The guy is probably shit-faced.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I mean, hey, good for him. He was out of the league for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's a great story, and he obviously had some real demons, and I don't want to make too much fun of that.
Yeah.
But man, he made Brandon Shell look really, really bad at times.
He had a rough game. Rough game.
Yeah. But overall, if you look at the 3 games in totality, and even this last game by itself, the offensive line, while they're not dominant, they look better in pass pro than they have for the last couple of years. Russ is still having to run around some, but if you look at some of the times he was rushed, a lot of those are either he is holding the ball too long or just no one's getting open.
Yeah.
There were times where, I mean, my gosh, you're like, how long has he been back there sitting? There were 6-7 seconds sometimes, and normally you have about 2 to 3 seconds to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
So they're doing better, which is really encouraging, even though they had an injury with Damian Lewis. But
yeah, and I actually was just looking up to see how that was progressing. And 5 hours ago, the Field Goals on SB Nation posted a blog saying Jamal Adams and Damian Lewis could play after avoiding serious injuries. So that's good news. Do you know anything about Potty? Did he end up getting back in the game?
He came back in the game.
He came back. Okay, I thought so. I just had it in my notes that he was hurt.
It sounds
that's probably from last year and the year before too.
Yeah, it's every game.
Yeah.
It sounds like all of their injuries are pretty minor.
Okay.
I heard an update on that, and there's a lot of grade 1 sprains, which grade 1 is the what you want. If you're gonna have a sprain, you don't want above grade 1. So often somebody with a grade 1 can come back and play the next week. You never know. You never know how they're going to respond. But Chris Carson, I was sure he was done for the year after that cheap shot.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck that guy, by the way.
My God.
That's what I'm looking up to see to find this dude's name because I need to.
I think I have it in my notes. There's a lot of it's. One thing that's interesting, a lot of players tweeting about that guy from other teams.
And Pete Carroll said it pissed him off,
Tristan Hill, number 72.
Tristan Hill, fuck you. And also, he was the one that had the helmet-to-helmet on Russ that gave us the other touchdown.
Right.
Which, honestly, thank you, Tristan Hill, because he kind of won us the fucking game for that helmet-to-helmet. So, but I thought the helmet-to-helmet on Russ was also dirty. I didn't, he came in and very clearly just bonked him on the head. I only saw the replay of that once, so I might have to look at it again. But fuck that guy.
Yeah.
That's Vontaze Burfict shit. That's unacceptable. And unfortunately, I don't know if the NFL is gonna do shit about it because it seems like they haven't said anything.
He'll get a fine. That's probably it. Which I don't care about that.
No.
If you want to make guys stop doing that, suspend them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That there's no looking at it in full speed, it looks even worse than when you look at the slow. Because when you look at it in slow motion, you're like, oh, his momentum maybe. No, he just held on and just full on did a full roll without it
was some wrestling whatever they call it, WWE. Yeah, that was some WWE shit right there. It was a dirty play, and when I saw it, I'm like, well. Okay, there's Chris Carson. He's done for the year.
Yeah, I know.
When's Penny coming back? But it sounds like he may be able to play this week or
good.
You don't know. I mean, I think are they at Miami or is it here? I can't remember.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
You wonder if some of these guys might stay home so they don't have to do the travel. So if someone's not a sure thing, they're probably not going to travel.
It's at Miami.
So there may be a couple of these guys that end up just staying home so they don't have to deal with the airplane. But we'll see. Hopefully. But anyway, it's good that no one was lost for what we believe no one was lost for a significant amount of time.
Yeah. Anything other significant? We were giving up a lot of third downs, especially early on.
Yeah.
The first drive in particular, a lot of third downs we were giving up. Trey Flowers just getting cooked up out there.
Shaquille looked horrible too.
Yeah, Shaquille looked horrible at times. He had a couple plays here and there, but even those were on poorly thrown balls for the most part.
Yeah.
So, the secondary, that's a huge, obviously, the whole defense is suspect, but the secondary, when you don't have Jamal Adams or Quentin Dunbar, and a lot of these guys haven't had a ton of time playing together. I'm worried about it obviously because they're not that good, but I'm not I think it'll get better is what I'm trying to say. I think when Dunbar and Jamal Adams are back, I think Shaquille Griffin is a good cornerback. I think he just had a tough game, and
he indicated that there were some communication issues.
Interesting.
And I don't know. Sometimes that's a shot at your D coordinator.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know if it is or not.
I was just going to say, when do we start looking at Ken Norton? When do we start looking at him?
The thing is, I don't know. I mean, it's Pete's defense.
Yeah,
so I
true.
don't know how much Norton. I mean, he's making the calls, but, I don't know what the dynamic is there exactly. But I almost think it doesn't probably matter.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Dan Quinn's defense now.
True. Seriously.
The defensive coordinator before him who went to the Jags.
Yeah.
Look at his, It's Pete's defense even this year with all how different it is, and part of the issue is so you don't have a pass rush, so what do? You blitz. Well, when you blitz, now you're leaving holes open everywhere. So if you watch, old Seahawks of 2013, like their kind of golden defensive era, 2013 through 15, or however you want to say it. They're playing. I think I might have said cover 2 on a previous podcast. I believe it's cover 3.
Oh yeah.
So basically, it's kind of a passive defense. So you're usually only you got a minimal rush coming, and you need those 4 guys to get some pressure.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to cover with your back 7 and fill up zones.
Yeah.
So when you blitz somebody, you're leaving something open. You know, so that's why you might see a defensive end or even a defensive tackle drop into. They're not really covering; they're just kind of filling a hole.
Yeah.
So when the quarterback looks up, he can't just get that slant over the middle because there might be a 6'5" guy with his arms up, you know, trying hopelessly to defend somebody. So we all love blitzes, but when you blitz, if you don't get there pretty fast, there's somebody's open, and somebody may be way open.
Yeah.
So we're seeing some of that, but you've got to have better corner play than they got. If they can't play better than that, it's going to cost them, especially against a really good team. You think if you get to the Super Bowl and play Patty Mahomes, you know,
oh Jesus, yeah,
he's really going to.
It's going to be a mess.
I mean, if Dak Prescott goes for 472, I mean, that's pretty embarrassing. Now they doing a great job against the run, which is helpful because it kind of forces teams into that pass mentality. But yeah, it's definitely a concern. So when you have to blitz, do you want to give them more time? And well, I'll tell you what, that last drive, they finally started to play some good dime defense. So they were, they started out, and basically it was a Tampa 2 that they were playing from what I've heard. And that, that's kind of an old school, again, like I said before, dropping linemen into coverage. And they had a 4-man rush for the first part of that. So you have, that means you have 7 guys back. There it goes. I'll get that later. Yeah. My headphone just fell out. Thank God I can't hear myself. So those guys are, so that means you have 7 guys dropping back, and that's why you saw so many just short completions. And that's great when the clock's running and, you're making them burn their timeouts. There were a lot of completions that were, 6 to 8 yards. Yeah. Where that's all they get, and then they had to burn a timeout.
Yep.
That's huge. They did a pretty good job of keeping them in bounds. Then the last half of that drive, there were 12 plays on that drive. The last 6, they were doing a 3-man rush, and that's where is it Robertson? Robinson. Yeah. Got his sack. And if you watch the replay of that, you can see the left tackle, who's a backup, kind of looking at his left guard like, where were you? I think he was expecting to get one shoulder and the left guard get the other. Yeah. And there was nobody there. So great play by Robinson, but a little bit of that may have been a mistake. Yeah. By the line. But great to see him, make a difference.
I was hyped on him. I was really hyped on him. So
Shaquem came in and made a difference.
Yeah.
And then is it Neal made the pick at the end, which was kind of just a prayer
thrown up in the air. Yeah.
And those two, Neal and Shaquem, get rewarded by being sent back to the old practice squad.
Hell yeah, nice.
And apparently, they could be called up one more time. And I think you can be sent back twice. So if they, at some point you have to either release them or let them go through the waiver process or sign them to the team, for the rest of the season.
I like Shaquem, man. Even beyond the story and him, being Shaquille's brother, I genuinely, he was PFF's highest graded rusher for Seattle.
Right.
I think he's effective. And it's not who are we keeping for him?
I thought it was really odd last year. He was out there. I don't think he started, but he was out there early in the game. I think maybe we had an injury, so he came. He was out there, and he blew a play badly. He was not in the right spot, led to a big touchdown, and then we never fucking saw him again. So it felt like that seems like a pretty hefty price to pay. Yeah. But yeah, every time since then, it seems like when he gets in, he's active. Things are happening. Yeah. So I would like to see him carve out some sort of role.
Definitely.
Especially in a hurry up type offense.
For sure.
So.
We minimized the shit out of Zeke. Yeah. That was fun to see.
Yeah, he had very little impact.
He might have. I mean, towards the end there, he was getting some action. I don't know what he finished with, but
Not
even
much.
if it looked like he had an okay game, the first 3.5 quarters were awful for him.
It was
So,
hard. Every yard was tough earned, and the Seahawks have done that
mhm.
in all three games. Really have done a great job against the run, and then also he's one of the best pass catching running backs in the league.
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, I don't know what we
He
did.
caught several, but he didn't get anything.
Mhm.
So that means the Seahawks are tackling and just they really limited him.
Did they have someone assigned to him? I have no idea. I'm not an X's and O's guy really, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know what we did to minimize him, if anything. But
I think they just always made sure that covering the running back was part of the defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question, because sometimes the Seahawks have been burned by running back receptions, but they just kept everything really short with him. So
for sure.
very, very good to see.
I mean, I know we probably still got some other stuff here, but we don't have a ton here. We could quickly, let's just bust through the rest of the games this week, honestly, and then make our prediction for Monday night, because I think on Wednesday we'll do a pretty in-depth preview of the finals, NBA Finals Game 1, Wednesday at 6 p.m. So we should have an episode of the Coe Show out around noon to before 6 p.m. It'll be out before the game. Hopefully, if everything goes well. So be sure to look for that. Do you got anything else for the Seahawks though?
Not a whole lot. I thought Greg Olsen doing what he's supposed to do, which is make a crucial catch on a third down play late in the game.
Yeah,
that was so big. Seahawks did benefit from a lot of illegal contact.
Oh
and those
yeah,
sorts of
that's
things.
true.
But
yeah,
they were all. I thought they were pretty good calls.
They were legit,
Yeah.
but there was a ton, and they were in big spots.
They
too.
were
really
it's
big
third
spots.
and long, and
yeah,
and you get a little bump, and
Yep.
and that's a first down. Those are automatic first downs.
A couple in the end zone.
Yeah, so those were huge. I think one other negative thing, and I hate to say this because this is a great Seahawk. I mean, maybe his name should go up in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Especially if he finishes out here. He seems to be a great man. I think he'll be a great broadcaster someday. So let me just start. I love this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought KJ Wright looked.
Oh man,
really
he looked old. Yeah, he looked old.
And just a step slower.
Love KJ Wright, one of my favorite Seahawks of all time.
Yeah.
And like you said, one of the most underrated players of all time. Whew, yeah, he looked pretty old, really slow.
Yeah, he did. He looked like he seems to always be in the right spot, but sometimes, he's in the right spot, but didn't quite have the giddy up he needed to make the play. So, I hope he can rebound and maybe he's got a nagging injury of some kind. But man, yeah, that was kind of a bummer to see.
Yeah.
'Cause he's someone that it wasn't a sure thing he was going to be on the team this year with them drafting Jordan Brooks and whatnot. So,
well, yeah, maybe that Jordan Brooks pick wasn't so bad after all.
Yeah,
if it's gonna
Flowers
happen this quick.
And the other thing he did was drop an interception.
Oh yeah, hit him right in the chest.
He looked like a goddamn soccer player.
Hit him in the chest. Yeah, he volleyed it off his chest and
he should get an
kicked
assist.
Yeah,
for that for that catch that was made.
Yeah.
He also missed a couple tackles. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. I mean, my gosh, they're just to put a bow on it. I mean, the offense looks incredible. They are letting Russ cook. I thought Chris Carson would have a bigger role in this game.
Yeah.
But and it seems like teams are still looking for them to run the ball, so they're doing what they should do, and they're throwing it. Looks really good. I think Shoddy's, as I said earlier, he's calling a better game. I see a lot more diversity with this offense.
Yeah.
There's a lot less of Russ running around and pirouetting and
For
throwing
sure.
up a prayer.
For sure.
There's a lot more rhythm passing.
Yeah.
It seems like he has short and long action, options on most plays.
That was another huge criticism of Shoddy is not only the first down throws, and also not only getting guys open, but just having, like short and medium throws, like short and medium routes that get open.
Yeah.
Not just like, okay, we'll have this little guy in the flat as your fifth option if you're scrambling. Like now there's design plays where we're throwing it 8 yards to a receiver instead of us having to scramble, and Lockett's run back and forth across the field 6 times. So
right. There are times, like I said, I think Russ could take a few less sacks.
Definitely.
I think I think at least half the sacks so far have been on him. And you got to get rid of the ball. You got to throw it out of bounds sometimes.
Yeah.
And not take a 10-yard loss.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that's why Pete has been fearful of let Russ cook, because let Russ cook is great when you complete the ball, but if you take a sack and now it's 2nd and 22, then your options are so limited.
Yeah.
And it's hard to throw on 2nd and 22. It's hard because they'll give you a 6-yard run.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's just, I think it's been great to see Pete obviously reflected a lot in the offseason. Shoddy has, I don't know and maybe he just wasn't allowed to do, ultimately it's Pete's team. So maybe he wasn't allowed to do certain things, but now we just got to get the defense. We got to find some pass rush, be creative with blitzes without giving up huge plays. So we'll see how that all pans out. The defense has to get better for them to get to to face Patty Mahomes at the end of the year.
Hey, Seahawks are 3-0.
They are 3-0.
Seahawks are 3-0.
Motherfucker.
So
yes.
I guess for the rest of this, we will do probably a small preview of Dolphins Seahawks, and then we'll go through what we thought was interesting from this Sunday, and then give a Chiefs Ravens prediction. And so starting off, Seahawks Dolphins, 10 a.m. on the East Coast.
Fitz magic, baby.
Yep, Fitz magic. This is candidate for game that makes us most angry this year. Definitely a candidate.
Could be.
I'm not excited to watch this game because it's one of those games where we either win and I have no feelings, or it's too close, or we lose and I have negative feelings. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I love watching the games no matter what. My mood doesn't swing that much.
Yeah.
From wins and losses, but
isn't it funny how like every game you want your team to come out and dominate, right?
Yeah.
Like we want domination.
Yeah.
But you would be so tired of that after about 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is like you don't remember those games really. Yeah. I mean, you only remember like the real blowouts. Yeah. You remember the close ones more though.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
how much would we remember the NFC Championship game where the Seahawks beat the Niners if they blew them out? We wouldn't, because we also blew out the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But the fact that was such a close game, there's almost more positive memories towards that NFC Championship game than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Just because of how it turned out.
We seek out that stress. I mean, that's why people watch horror movies and suspenseful, suspenseful
that's why
movies.
People gamble.
That's why. We think we don't, but we love it. Yeah. So and the Seahawks are the best team in the NFL.
Seahawks might be the best team to root for in all of sports. They give you that energy, that high, but you win most of the time.
How often do you just get to sit back in the second half and eat your popcorn? And
almost never. Yeah.
Smile the whole time. Yeah, Super
Week
Bowl.
1, 2020. That's it. And the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, let me see if they got a spread here. I'll find one, but obviously expect to win this one. It would be pretty embarrassing if we don't. Although I would like to see Tua. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are not a terrible team. They're definitely not the worst team in the league. They seem to play hard. They just don't have a ton of talent because they traded whatever talent they had. They traded away.
Seriously, it's Seahawks -6.5, and we're on the road. So I'm pretty sure that's 9.5 if you take away
Yeah.
home field advantage. I'm take. I think I'd take the Seahawks. I'm not betting on this game though.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a bet that I wouldn't make in Vegas. I know I keep saying that.
yeah,
I am 5-0 on my locks of the week, which we'll
fair,
talk more about
fair.
that on Wednesday.
Yeah,
But I probably wouldn't bet this one just
No.
because you figure it's gonna end up being 3 or 4 points.
yeah.
But if I had to bet, I'd probably bet the Seahawks. If
I
it
would
goes
too.
over 7, if it gets to 7.5, then I'm putting my money on the Dolphins.
Definitely.
So that's how razor's edge this one is.
Yeah, I mean they always find a way, Vegas, obviously. Yeah. So, obviously, expecting to win, hoping to win. I guess what do you like? What do you want to see out of this game though, other than just a win? What do you want to see?
I would just like to see. They're gonna give up passing. Even if they win this easily, they're gonna give up passing yards again. They're gonna. If the Dolphins could get behind, and if they do, they're gonna chuck it with Fitzmagic. I would just like to see. Really, I would like to see the corners play a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect poor corner play.
Yeah, no, it was really bad.
I knew we were going to have pass rush issues all year. That's not a surprise to me. But watching, Shaquem or Shaquille, now I'm calling him.
Yeah.
He is right now. He is Shaquem's little brother.
Yeah.
Shaquem had a better game than he did. Should move Shaquille's ass to the practice squad. But no, this guy was a Pro Bowl alternate, and Pro Bowl alternate, probably not that big. I mean, you were probably next up on the Pro Bowl alternate list. Like, there's like 7 guys that go down before we need better play from the corners. I mean, Trey Flowers was a fairly high pick. He looked okay at times last year. Bad penalties, but his coverage at times wasn't too bad. Mm-hmm. He looked terrible. I don't think Dunbar has played very well when he's been in.
I think a lot of the time that Flowers has been cooked, like last season, the one that stuck out, obviously part of it was the last game of the season, but getting cooked by Devontae Adams one-on-one, especially on third downs, it was very similar with Amari Cooper, I feel.
Right.
So I don't think that there can be an expectation that Trey Flowers can cover a top wide receiver well at all. I don't think he's that good.
No.
There shouldn't be, and I haven't seen people with this expectation per se, but I'm seeing people that are really hopeful of this, and I think if we're gonna be realistic, the only guy that maybe has shown signs that he can go one-on-one with an elite receiver is Shaquille at times.
Yeah.
At times.
Sure as hell not yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know a lot about Quentin Dunbar. I've heard that he's really good. He's looked okay at times. He hasn't looked incredible the first 2 weeks.
Right.
And then obviously Jamal, not a great coverage safety. Quandre Diggs, he's kind of a ball hawk, but he's more of a big hitter. He's not going to go out there and go step for step with a guy.
Right.
So, I would agree with you, though, that as a unit, I would like to see just, I don't know if you put this on the scheme, you need to be more creative or what, but I would like to see better DB play for sure.
Yeah.
Coverage specifically, because our DBs have been laying hits. By the way, we didn't talk about Ugo Amadi. He looked great.
He looked really good.
He looked really good at that. I think he was one of our highest graded players for PFF.
Okay.
I lost respect for PFF after week 1, I think it was. They had or it might have been week 2. They had Russ 4th or 5th on their grading, and they had Tom Brady over him, and it's so obvious that Tom Brady didn't have a better week.
Yeah, I don't know how they calculate those.
I guess Tom Brady had some guys drop passes that were
okay.
way downfield, which I did, yeah.
I think, and then I'm sure taking sacks is part of that.
Yeah, true.
That hurts
true.
Russ sometimes, but
Yeah.
PFF, I think it's probably the best straight up analysis you're going to get, but it's still very flawed.
Yeah, we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball started this shit way earlier, so that's why it's at a spot where it seems like pretty much everyone is drinking the Kool-Aid with baseball analytics. So
right.
I think probably, it'll be more embraced as the years go on, but also it'll become a lot more accurate and more advanced. So, I mean, all right, let's go over this last week, some of the interesting games. I'll just kind of read through the scores and stop me if you got something to say.
Yeah.
Dolphins 31, Jags 13. Gardner Minshew played like dog shit.
The beard beats the mustache.
The beard did beat the mustache, taught him a lesson. 49ers on the sticky turf beat the Giants 36-9. By the way, you told me that they checked the turf officially and said it was good. I did not know they did that. So that's interesting.
Because, somebody said, there was a request to go look at it. They looked at it and said it's fine.
Yeah.
But who knows what that means it meets the specifications.
Right, okay.
But I've also heard that anytime you put down new turf,
it's iffy.
It's iffy. Yeah, it takes a while for it to get into top form. So, that is an issue. I was surprised how easily they beat the Giants.
Yeah.
But the Giants are terrible.
No, they're awful.
And I'll tell you, I've heard people say this for a couple of years, and I'm on board. I don't know why. Tell me why Nick Mullins is not as good or better than Garoppolo.
I haven't seen any reason to say that he's not.
It's they just gave up a lot to get Garoppolo, so he's getting every opportunity. But Mullins is a player. Like, you can't sleep on that guy. He's not. I don't think he's a Pro Bowl player, but he's not a bad player.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was much drop off at quarterback. Maybe even a slight upgrade. But you would think, they had pass rushers out and all that. You would think the Giants could have mounted some sort of a challenge to them, but they really didn't. So it's a little surprised there.
Yep. Browns 34, Washington football team 20. I believe the only win by an NFC East team is that Cowboys comeback win over the Falcons. And we'll touch on the Falcons later. But I think the NFC East, well, they also do have a tie. Eagles 23, Bengals 23. The only thing
the Cowboys in first place at 1-2.
Yeah. The only
wide open, that division.
Yeah. The only comment I really have about the Eagles Bengals game is Doug Peterson is a fucking coward. Obviously terrible play by the offensive lineman on the kick. So for the record, if you didn't see it, Eagles were set up to win the game from 61 yards out. And this player, or no, it was
59.
It was 59.
58 or 59.
It was It was
59.
It was 59, but he had hit from 61 before in a game winner his rookie year. Yeah. Josh Elliott for the Eagles. The defender for the Bengals slaps the ground, gets the guard to jump off sides like an idiot. So they move 5 yards back. Okay, 64 yards. This man has hit a 61-yarder. So, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to hit a 64-yarder. They decide to punt with 19 seconds left in overtime. There's no, if you're going to punt, you might as well kick the field goal and just tell your guys, be ready to set up for coverage.
You have two choices there. You kick the field goal or you throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Or you even had enough time to maybe get a first down and get out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And they maybe could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a 5-yard out.
They had 19 seconds.
Yeah, throw a 5-yard out and get your 5 yards back.
Yeah.
And then let your,
It's so ridiculous.
They're going to give you 5 yards. I've seen that many times where it's like snap, catch, bink, and he goes right out of bounds because the defender doesn't want to be on ESPN getting beat for a touchdown. So they're going to play way off. Yeah, that was... And what's weird is when that guy came in, there are two shot fighters on that team. The quarterback is a shot fighter and the coach. Because when he came into the league, he was one of the more ballsy guys out there.
Yeah.
And he seems to have no faith in his team anymore.
Oh, my God. He wrote a book. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah. So, the reasons to not try a 64-yard field goal would be the Auburn, Alabama game.
Yeah.
Where you don't want them to run it all the way back.
His book is called Fearless, by the way.
Boy, yeah, I gotta change the name of that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So he seems like maybe he's kind of given up, and I understand, hey, let's just get to overtime and try to win it there, but your team's not that good. Try to win it now while you can.
I saw a tweet from, I think it was Big Cat of Pardon My Take, who I've talked about a couple times already on here. He said that Doug Peterson owes an apology to America, and he really does. It's like, what, like, yeah. Not only are you not going for the win, but like, just give us something to watch.
Yeah.
There's like
nobody wants to watch a punt.
There's no reason to punt. There's really no reason in any there's not really one reason you could tell me, because the risk of a kick six happening is just about as much as a punt return.
Yeah, you could get a punt return for a touchdown as well.
It's just about as much, and you do have a chance of you winning the game then if you don't punt. So it's like, I don't. Like, why are you playing to tie?
The chances of winning the game with a field goal, or like I said, even throwing a short pass and then kicking a field goal or a Hail Mary, your chances of winning the game are way better than you losing the game.
Yeah.
By any one of those actions.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Back to the schedule. We got Patriots beating the Raiders 36-20. Believe Cam had a really good game. Falcons are a fucking mess. 30-26. You let the Bears go 21 on. I think it was 21 unanswered. Man,
Nick Foles.
Yeah. So
they should tell him he's not starting this week either, and then
it's
bring
too
him
late.
off the bench.
It's too late. It was announced that he is starting. We already talked about this, but I want you to air out your prediction on the air. Will Mitch Trubisky ever start another game for the Bears as he is considered the starter? No injuries, he is considered the starter.
So yeah, I mean, obviously if Nick Foles gets hurt next week,
all quarterbacks are on the depth chart.
Right.
All of them are on the depth chart.
I don't think he ever is announced as, this is our guy, this is our starter for the season.
Interesting.
I think I don't think so.
Interesting.
Because when he pulled him for Nick Foles, that's a statement.
That's it. I feel like that's kind of it, unless Mitch is the kind of guy that really would let this drive him, which I don't think he is. I don't think so.
That's not what I hear about his personality.
No, and there was some of that this offseason where it's like, oh, he fixed stuff, he's motivated, but he still played like dog shit. So, and then Nick Foles came in and came back.
Three touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, had that sick-ass visor. I mean... I just what team is going to try out Mitch Trubisky? What team is going to try out Mitch Trubisky over trying out some third round pick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm taking my chances on taking a draft pick in the third round over, I have no interest.
He'll be brought into camps for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he'll probably, I could see him being a backup for a really long time.
He may be.
I cannot fathom a team bringing him in and trying to build an offense around him.
I don't think he'll be in the league in 5 years. I'm going to go that far because I'm not sure how good of a backup quarterback he is.
The attitude thing.
If there are problems with his preparation.
Right, yeah, it's true.
Your backup quarterback needs to be one of the most prepared, probably the most prepared person on the team. Because there's suddenly, you go from, when you're the backup quarterback, in one play, you go from the least important player on the entire team to the most important.
Yeah.
That's the rise you make. So they have to be super prepared. So if you don't trust him to come in and help you win a game, why is he there?
If you are drafting a guy, I would way rather have a guy, this year, say Josh McCown. I would way rather have a guy like Josh McCown act as a mentor to a guy than Mitch Trubisky. I have no clue how he is with the playbook and the attitude and all that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I could see you being right there if it turns out that he's not only is his attitude not great, but like you said, he's not prepared, and he also doesn't act as much of a help as he should to the starter or whoever's coming up. Because I think I think a lot of backup quarterbacks deserve some credit. Like the longtime backup quarterbacks, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could see you being completely right there in that he won't fit as a backup.
I mean, this is part of, not to open this door again, but this is part of the reason why Kaepernick is not on a team, because you want, maybe like if you're going to sign him, he's your starter. As a backup, he's maybe not the best backup to have because he brings there's a lot of baggage there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit of an oddball. Like your backup sort of has to be a real team guy. Like do everything I do is for the team. I help people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I'm a mentor.
Yeah.
I'm okay with not playing.
I think
that's what you need from your backup.
Yeah, I think with Kaepernick specifically,
he was kind of blackballed too. Believe me, I'm not
no,
saying
he was definitely blackballed,
he'd be
but
real tough to sign. He'd be real tough to sign.
Yeah, he was definitely blackballed, but at the same time, there's like no benefit in having a backup quarterback that has more publicity than like your whole team. It's just whether he would be a Pro Bowl quarterback today or not, if he's coming in with the idea of him, if you're bringing him in with the idea that he's going to be a backup quarterback, you have to be prepared for him to really have a spotlight on him.
Oh yeah.
And why would you want that in a backup quarterback?
You don't.
And what he's doing is great, and I think you've discussed it. There's been the odd thing or two that has hurt his reputation in some people's eyes, but at the end of the day, what he's doing is great. But when you're trying to win football games, it's like you don't want outside distractions, even if those outside distractions are ultimately going to create positive change. So yeah, I don't know why we started talking about Kaepernick.
Let's move on. We've talked about it before, but
Bills, man, narrowly avoid a comeback from the Rams.
Thank you, Bills.
Josh Allen, man, I think it's I think he would get my MVP vote. So I'm
it's
kidding.
So weird.
I'm kidding.
I know.
First of all, I'm kidding about that.
But he's thrown for 300 yards and multiple touchdowns in each game.
Yeah, no, he really is balling.
I think that's gonna balance itself out eventually. I still am not a big fan of his.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's playing well.
He had 5 total touchdowns yesterday.
He did bring him back in the last couple of minutes there, and we owe him a beer. He the Seahawks are 3-0, and they're the only 3-0 team in the division in part because of Josh Allen. So thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Steelers over Texans. Who cares?
Have you heard? Did you hear that the Texans are bringing old Earl Thomas in?
Oh yeah. So, that'll put him in contention to not be the worst team in their division. So good for them.
I'm sure he'll love being on a terrible team with
Bill O'Brien.
Maybe a racist coach.
That's gonna be
sure
their own. They don't.
He died.
Yeah, he died. That's right.
So he's not racist anymore.
Gostkowski redemption game 6 for 6, powering the Titans to a 1-point win over the Vikings. Vikings putting up 30. I didn't check the stats there. I know Dalvin Cook had a monster game. I don't know how. Actually, I'll just check to see how Kirk Cousins did. I didn't watch the game, so obviously I did not have the eye test. 16 for 27, 251, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah, that's
not great. Dalvin Cook, 22 carries, 181 yards, 8.2 per carry, 1 touchdown. And then also he only had 2 for 18. Oh, wow. Rookie Justin Jefferson, who I thought was a steal. I don't know if you remember me saying that.
Yeah, I did as well. Yeah.
7 for 175 and a touchdown. I did not know that.
Holy
so
cow.
He pretty much caught everything that Kirk Cousins threw. So, Titans look legit, apparently. 3-0. So,
yeah, they do.
What else can you say other than they're legit?
I still don't think they're a real threat to win the Super Bowl.
Tannehill didn't have an incredible game, by the way.
Yeah.
23 for 37, 321 and a pick, no touchdowns. So not great, but not bad.
Yeah.
All right. We got Panthers over Chargers. Who
Meh.
cares? Herbert looked like he got hurt there for a sec, but he didn't.
Did come back. Yeah, he came back in.
Hold on, I just want to see how Herbert did. Bridgewater had an okay game. Herbert, wow, he threw the ball 49 times.
Wow.
35 completions though, so 330, a touchdown and a pick. So
a lot of short passes.
yeah.
He's looked better than I would have thought. I will say that. We'll see.
Me too.
We'll see how it goes. I still don't think he's the guy you are going to count on to lead you to a Super Bowl, but
I would agree.
Who knows?
All right, Colts over Jets. Who cares? 36-7. Talked about the Seahawks. Lions over Cardinals.
Oh yeah, baby! Wow.
Let's go.
Kyler Murray with at least 3 picks.
3 picks, yeah, 3
Yeah.
picks.
So his MVP run is over after 2 weeks, apparently.
My player of the week was DeAndre Hopkins, and he did have 10 catches for 137 yards. So he had a good game.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
touchdowns. Not quite player of the week material, but, I mean, that's a DeAndre Hopkins game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, hold on. Let's see. Did they fumbles lost? Okay, they did not have any fumbles lost. So, yeah, I mean, go ahead, Lions. I'll be right back.
Kyler Murray looks like, if you watch like footage of old sports footage,
Yeah.
and how they speed it up.
Yeah.
That's what Kyler Murray looks like to me.
Seriously.
Like his legs are moving so fast.
Yeah.
It looks
Slow.
fake.
Have you do you know the sound that Mr. Krabs makes when he walks? Like,
yeah.
That's what it looks like.
You hear that sound when Kyler Murray
Yeah.
takes off?
Yeah. All right. Buccaneers over Broncos, 28-10. I mean, Jeff Driscoll. What are you gonna do? Packers 37, Saints 30.
Oh man. Drew Brees is
Drew,
done,
man.
man.
I hate to say it, but he's done. Taysom Hill fumbling a ball on a key play. Obviously, nerd Twitter really went after Sean Payton for that one.
Yeah, there's some question as to why is he in there in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, do you want Drew Brees in there right now?
Man, he just looks like he can't. Looks like he can throw a football about as far as I can right now.
Yeah, it's sad to see. I love Drew Brees. Yeah. So those are the games from yesterday.
Aaron Rodgers, though, I have to say, he kind of looks like he's back a little.
Yeah,
bit.
and it's funny. There's football guys on Twitter saying like, oh, all you people saying that the Packers and the Seahawks were gonna have a bad record this year because they won a bunch of close games. Like, look where they are now. I think it was Dick Fane. Who's a big football run guy.
He's Mount Rainier high school guy.
Yeah. And people were just flaming him like, yeah, because they fixed the problems that all the nerds on Twitter were talking about.
Dick spars a lot. He gets really offended by the let Russ cook people.
I know. It's so funny.
He gets all fired up about that, and he hates Seahawks Twitter. He hates it.
I know.
Dick's a very positive guy, for the most part. But so when he sees all this negativity, even after a win, I think he's poked back at a lot of those people.
Yeah.
But he's not going to win that. He's not going to win that battle. So.
No. And if you look at pass attempts on early downs, guess who the top 2 teams are?
Yeah.
Seahawks, then Packers.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
But I get what he's saying, but he needs to stop looking at Seahawks Twitter. Just don't look at it.
No, just
that's why I don't look at it.
Even if
I know you nerds are out there. I'm not looking at you though.
Even if Seahawks Twitter is wrong about something, they will not lose a battle on Twitter.
No.
It's their home turf. You're just not going to beat them.
No,
There's too many of them. They're too funny and clever, even if they're dead wrong about something.
They're in their mom's basement.
Yeah.
With their calculators, and they have.
Seahawks
nothing...
Twitter. I love Seahawks Twitter.
And
Zach Whitman was on ESPN. He's the start of the Let Russ Cook movement. I will say, Zach, I love your Twitter account. It's an unfortunate look for the face of the Let Russ Cook movement. You do look a little nerdy, man. I really love you, man. You're great on Twitter, but I will say it does kind of support the Dick Fanes of the world when you see
I looked at him. I'm like, okay, this guy has never stepped foot on a
Why did
field.
they cut Josh? Josh looks like a cool dude. Josh Cashman. They cut him. He tweeted, "Mina Kimes cut me from ESPN. I will get my revenge." Yeah. So I love you, Zach and Seahawks
Yeah.
Twitter.
I can't, I generally don't read a lot of comments or a lot of things like that just because I'd be like Dick Fane. I'd go into war, with nothing. I'd run into like 100 people and they would skewer me with their, like I'd have no chance in that war. So I don't even look at that stuff but I get it. It is annoying sometimes, but I'm sure they're all happy that we're letting Russ cook.
Mm-hmm. And before anyone comments on my hair, because I was talking about Zach being a ginger, I know my hair is shitty. I'm doing it on purpose, okay? Okay? So, anyway, move forward.
Yeah, so Seahawks Twitter, don't tweet me, please. Like,
I
don't know. I got nothing for you. Just,
You can tweet me if it's love and support for the podcast, but no, I genuinely do. I do enjoy Seahawks Twitter. So, but yeah, I will say, there are some people on Seahawks Twitter that get kind of stuck in their ideas, and I mean that's just what Twitter is, though.
Yeah.
That's what everything on Twitter is. An echo chamber of your own opinions.
Mike Holmgren had a really interesting comment. Now you can imagine he's a crusty old coach. He's not a big fan of analytics.
Yeah.
He was asked, would you have an analytics guy on his staff? And he's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Would you listen to him? He's like, yeah. But what he said was, and I agree with this. So when you look at analytics, you're looking at the totality of a season. So if I go for it on 4th and 3 from my own 44 every time, it's going to pay off over the course of a season,
right?
Or the course of my coaching career, or whatever. But when you boil it down to that one game, and you go for it and you don't make it, so what Holmgren said was, none of those analytics guys have to go face their owner,
right? Yeah,
and have your owner ask, "What the fuck are you doing with my team?"
Mm-hmm.
Like the Seahawks Twitter guys, If we go for a 4th and 3 on our own 46 and don't make it, the Twitter guys, they can just hide for a day or two and come and
It is true.
But it's a little bit harder when you're in the situation and your livelihood depends on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the. I feel like that's the case for everything. You don't know how hard it is till you're there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I mean, running a podcast that gets no views is pretty hard.
It is hard. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So
it looks easy. It's not easy.
No.
I actually have to pay attention to the Seahawks game.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. Yeah. All right. Let's move into Monday night, which is tonight. Specifically in an hour and 9 minutes. The da 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 bop 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 bop. Okay.
Still a great theme song.
Yeah, it is.
Change that.
All right, Chiefs at Ravens. The spread is Ravens minus 3.5. So basically minus a half if we're taking out home field advantage, because I think home field advantage is still considered.
They're still playing it that way, from what I hear, even though there's no fans. But
they should just take a point off, like a point and a half.
Think 1 point,
a point and a half, a point off.
Maybe depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem weird. I mean, I know there's still a lot to it, the traveling and the routine and all that. But you would think that the crowd
and also I think
would make a difference.
The Dolphins should have like a bigger home advantage than the Ravens would in this case. A, because the travel's worse, and B, because like it's 10 a.m. for the Seahawks,
Right.
So you would think that anyway. We don't set the odds, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Minus 3.5 to the Ravens. I'm gonna take the Chiefs here. I think the Chiefs win.
I like the Chiefs to win the game as well.
All right.
Yeah,
interesting.
I do. I've heard some others say that you should take the Ravens on that. Man, if you're given, I don't know, anytime you're given the Chiefs points,
yeah, it's like,
I mean, come on.
Like, I don't know. Anytime you're giving him more than a half a point.
Yeah,
really.
I can't imagine. Well, anything can happen, but it just seemed that one surprised me.
Yeah.
Spreads don't surprise me very often. I've looked at enough of them. I can usually guess what the spread is going to be within a point. Like I feel pretty, like I have a pretty good handle on the spread.
I would have said like 1.5 on this.
Yeah. I thought it would have been a very slight edge just because they're at home, but 3.5 more than like you're getting, the hook is on there too. So
yeah,
they could win by 3 and the Chiefs still cover.
Yeah.
Would you expect it's going to be a close game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a weird one to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe some big Italians put down some big money somewhere.
Yeah.
They got a couple refs in their pocket. I don't know, but
For real.
no, I was surprised by that. I would have thought it would have been pick'em or
wow.
point and a half.
Tickets as low as $109 according to ESPN. So
wow.
that's cool.
Okay, nice.
Should we fly out?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I mean, do you got anything for this game? Or anything else at all? Really?
For the Monday night game.
Anything?
Yeah, I mean the Monday night game. I'm still not a big Lamar guy. He's gonna be a problem for a couple of years, but I just I have concerns with his accuracy. He's got a strong enough arm. Obviously he's an electric runner. Probably the most. I mean. Murray's coming up on him, but Murray has some of that too. But Lamar is just deadly.
Yeah,
but
he's their leading rusher right now.
But man, I wonder. You can only do that for so long in the NFL.
Yeah,
and he's gonna either slow down or take get a serious injury.
Because the thing is, though, we're talking about tonight.
We're talking about tonight. Yeah. So he's gonna be a problem for sure. But man, I don't know. I just love Pat Mahomes.
I do too. Yeah.
Don't
call him Pat. It makes him sound white.
Patty.
I guess Patty's pretty white too.
I'll call him my homie.
Okay,
that's too far.
Good thing we're at the end of the podcast
far?
here. No one's made it this far, so no one heard that. No one heard that.
Okay. Yeah, he's not your homie. He's my homie. Okay.
All right, and that's all right, but yeah, seriously. Anything else? I think obviously something that'll be interesting. I'm interested to see the matchup between Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Patrick Queen. I want to see some collisions there just from the rookies. I don't know. I wish we had Patrick Queen. So I mean, I actually don't know how well he's done this year. I have no idea. I haven't paid attention. So yeah, I think we both pretty much agree. Looks like they're giving Baltimore a 60.3% chance to win. So although I mean, the Falcons had over 90. They had 99.9% and then 99.4% in the last 2 weeks. So who knows how accurate that really is if that's the case. But yeah, you got anything else otherwise?
No, I think that's it.
All right, cool. Got hour and 7, so it's pretty solid. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this far. If you did, don't really know why you did, but that's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got regular Coe show coming out Wednesday. It'll be mostly just a big finals preview probably, and we'll discuss any football news that happens. Maybe Jamal or maybe Earl Thomas will get signed, maybe we'll hear some more news about Doc Rivers. Actually, that's basketball news. We did not talk about that today.
And who will be our clown of the week?
Oh!
Is it there? Yeah, who will be the clown of the week?
Just a little preview for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, ebook on Amazon, hardcover on Lulu.com, at Mason Charles Coe, at AaronCoe29 on Twitter, and subscribe, please. Maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
See ya.